What's up? So today we're gonna go ahead and do some food delivery back in Seattle. And I know that I went to try out other cities, but I want to get a couple more data points in terms of the results for what kind of numbers people are getting being in Seattle delivering for it using pay by time. So I just want to do that. But something I also want to do is that someone commented that there's like car maintenance when it comes to food delivery, which is true. And I just want to show people how I handle the car maintenance in terms of budgeting, in terms of how much money you have and how to handle it with whatever money we make today. So whatever money we make today, that's how much money we're going to use for car maintenance and how I handle it if I only had a limited amount of money. So let's see how much money we can get and we'll see how to budget our car maintenance. About 30 minutes in, we finally get our first order. And this is not a good start for us because we're trying to make as much money as we can to put towards our car maintenance services that we need to make. My car is coming up about 5,000 miles since any kind of last service I've done on it. And so we're going to need to make as much money as we can so we can do as much maintenance as we can. We want to be efficient with our time and we want to be efficient with the amount of money we have to put towards any kind of maintenance that needs to be done. The more money we have, the more work we can get done on it. The less money we have, we're gonna have to be more resourceful. So 30 minutes in, having no orders is not a good start, but we get those orders, they start rolling in, and it actually starts coming at a nice steady pace from that 30-minute mark. So for example, this order right here, this I actually didn't take this order right here, this Taco Bell order. It was too far. I wasn't gonna make it back in a timely fashion, and I was gonna lose out on more time per hour in terms of trying to be efficient for these for this ship. My goal is gonna be hopefully $20 an hour. I'm just praying for $20 per hour. It has not been looking good, but we're gonna have to just do our best. So I get this order and I get a $16.50. That's not too bad. We're just gonna have to just keep accepting it. And as you can see me in this video, I'm walking. I had to park all the way around the corner, but we're paid by time in Seattle, so walking to it's not too bad. It's just the walk back that's gonna eat up a lot of time. Next, I get two back-to-back orders from the same restaurant. This restaurant right here, I had to drive over to Fremont, and these orders are okay. I mean, normally you would get tips, but now tips have been decimated. It's basically people give like $1 or $2 to mainly $0 for tips, and that's I mean it's unfortunate, but they realize that we're supposed to get paid more, but in actuality, the math isn't looking too good. Somehow it just not working out right. So we're just gonna have to make do. Here's the other order that I got from same restaurant, same direction, and of course I gotta accept anything I get. The one good thing that might come up is that maybe my percentage for acceptance rate for Doordash will increase, and hopefully that makes a difference. All the different kinds of top dasher, diamond status, all that stuff has been disappeared from Doordash in Seattle. So it might mean nothing. I get this next order for $18.34, and we're closely reaching the midpoint of the end of the lunch shift, and for me to take like an hour break before I start going into the dinner shift. And we definitely made up for lost times in terms of numbers of orders, even though we lost that first 30 minutes. So the pace is just picking back up, and it actually died down. I was expecting it to die down as it should towards the end of the lunch shift, which is I counted as 3 o'clock instead of 2:30. So we're hoping and praying to get one more order to get us back on pace to about $20, maybe less than $20 an hour. And bang, I get a nice easy one for McDonald's, $9.68, which is a surprise because I don't know who's ordering fast food now that all the fees are out of control, and
not a lot of people are ordering from fast food anymore. Usually, I get a lot of orders from McDonald's. It used to be a really good downtime place to pick up orders, and then of course it died off. But yeah, I mean, this is the first one I've seen in a while, and luckily we got it to put us back on a good pace towards our goals.
Well, we're at the halfway point, and that was the lunch shift. We're about to start the dinner shift. I had a total about 6 trips, and of course, that's really slow. Waste a lot of wasted time sitting around. But what can you do? It seems like this is the pace of Seattle. Some people are. I think the people who are saying they're doing well are the people who are just doing like maybe 2 to 3 hours at most a day, and they are have condensed amount of trips, as opposed to me who's have a longer period of time, and so now everything's kind of spread out. But in either case, I mean, $20 an hour is kind of the actually it's probably a little bit less, but that's about the average, and it's not looking too good. But that's okay. Like I said, we'll figure out how much money we got, and we'll figure out how to maintenance our car with that amount of money.
If you're not familiar with Seattle, Seattle's passed a new ordinance where it's paid by time only, and you're paying. They want these door food delivery companies to pay $27 an hour. On top of the $27 an hour, you get an extra. I think it's like 70 cents for every mile driven. So it's a lot, and because of all these expenses or all these changes, all these companies have now dumped all the fees onto the customers, and the customers are not ordering anymore. The order volume in the city has dropped by 30 to 50%, and I'm definitely feeling it. Usually before this, I was getting order after order, and I was using the cherry picking strategy because there was just that much volume. So now that they changed all these rules, it's completely decimated, and well, I'm not getting a lot of orders. I've seen other people report that they're not getting enough orders, but I'm not really sure how to go about this. That's why we're switching up a little bit. We're trying to see what kind of expenses we have in general, and people who are just trying to get by, and how to navigate these new challenges, and how to handle it with this new pay structure. I hope they roll back. Right now, they're in discussion to either lower the amount or hopefully roll back it completely, because pay by order was way better in Seattle for than pay by time, and this really sucks. So we'll just see. These orders look like they pay out a lot, but I mean, is not very frequent. This order right here, if you look at the first house, these are really bad directions. It's always a good thing to be familiar with your neighborhood that you're delivering to. Otherwise, you get dropped off at, or you get bad directions, and you're just gonna be driving around looking for parking. Luckily for me, I'm familiar with the area, and I know how to navigate it, and I know where to park, so I can be in and out real quick.
Well, that's it for the dinner shift. I didn't get anything for the last almost 2 hours, but I got like 2 orders, but it took me way outside. It was close to 10 miles, but so I didn't accept them, hoping that I could get a better order, but nothing ever came. So that's unfortunate. So we're just gonna have to make do with the amount of money that we have. So let's get into a recap of how much we made, and also how we're gonna budget our car maintenance. So for changing your brakes, all you gotta do is take the bolt out right here and then turn this up, and then you should be able to change the brake pads. Now a lot of places will say that, oh, you gotta change the caliper, you gotta change the rotors, but that happened to me before. They were just trying to change the whole thing just to get paid more. I actually called a different like a car maintenance place, and they said that yeah, you probably don't need to change it because you don't need to really change it that often. So all you need to do is really change your brake pads. Usually this little metal piece right here, you'll hear it screeching if you need to change it. So we don't need to change it, but I just want to show you. So instead, we're gonna go ahead and just like rotate the tires. We're gonna use the spare tire to mount the or put it on here, and then that way we can just rotate one tire at a time. So we're gonna go ahead and do that.
I want to mention that when you change your brake pads yourself in Seattle, it costs about $150 to go to a auto service place, and they charge $150. If you do it yourself, that's $50. That's $100 saved. And because we're on a budget, that's what we got to do. So next, we're gonna go ahead and rotate our tires. Normally, tire rotation can be free if you pair it along with some other kind of service like oil change or a brake pads change. But because we're not going to any auto service place, we aren't going to have to pay for this. We're going to have to do it ourselves. And if you get it just purely as a single service without any other addition, that's about $100. So that's money saved. Again, I mean, we're got all the tools to get it done, and we're just going to do it while we're at it, because and having this jack here, it just makes it a lot easier. So go ahead and do it yourself. It's just a lot cheaper. The next thing is an oil change. That costs about $100 in Seattle. Here I do it myself. Comes out to be about $40. I actually accidentally dropped the bolt to the oil pan, and that's why I didn't get a lot of good footage. I was like scrambling to find it, and it was actually in the oil because it was hot, and I thought it would have cooled down by then, but it didn't. It was a hot day, and that's what I got.
Okay, so next we have changing cabin filter. It's pretty easy, just like changing a light bulb, like everything else. So here we go. Okay, so we got this thing lowered down. And boom, it's right there. And you just remove it and add a different one. We don't have to change ours, it's pretty clean. And that's it.